Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rachel Venman,
I'm Jasmine Clark.
I'm Amanda Weinstein.
and this is the Suburban Women Problem. Today, we're joined by the Congressman for Florida's 25th district. I must say, I think that is the best district in Florida. I could be partial because it is also my district. She is also the former chair of the Democratic National Committee. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, thank you so much for joining us today.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I'm proud to be with this powerhouse panel, especially because I am a suburban woman and represent lots of them.
I love it.
Yes, you live very close to me. I also live in suburbia. Well, we just made it through a stressful election season, and right around the corner, there are the 2024 elections. They're on everyone's mind. Reproductive freedom won big this year, but how do you think that's going to translate into wins for 2024?
I think that pundits were pretty surprised, but women weren't about.
Yes. Amen.
I mean, women weren't because the this is really, I think, the understandable reaction to the Dobbs decision, which was such a gut punch to generations of women. I spent really my whole adult life. I was 6 years old in 1972, and so my generation, even I'm a Gen Xer, had reproductive rights our entire lives. But here we are with Dobbs having been decided, and explosions all over the country in red states where suburban women in particular, women who are, consider themselves independent, women that consider themselves, let's say, moderate Republicans, and then, of course, women who have staunchly supported vocally reproductive rights for, their entire lives, have watched our rights erode. And when the rug was pulled out from under us, this is the result. And so I think the momentum is there in my state, in mine and Rachel's state now. We have I would say, likelihood, I'm going to speak it into existence, the likelihood of having a constitutional amendment on the ballot that would grant affirmatively women in this state the right to make their own reproductive choices tied to viability. And by the way, if there are women from Florida who are listening, please go to the Floridians Protecting Freedom website, download a petition and sign it, because we've got 621,000 signatures as of this month. And when we get to the required number, the Supreme Court will review it, and we're headed towards the ballot. And I think that's going to roll forward all over the country. I also think that it's going to drive turnout and impact elections up and down the ballot where those measures are on ballots.
What's the required number? I'm curious.
So it's around 900,000, and we have 621,000 signatures. They have to also have a certain percentage in 14 congressional districts around the state where they're very near to that as well, and they have to do it by February 1st. So they're
very attainable.
Yeah, yes. The states that they're on for collecting signatures is very strong.
Wow. Well, so I'm sitting in Ohio. So if Ohio is any indicator, I think this will go. It went very well in Ohio, and I am looking forward to seeing this in Florida. But one thing I noticed sitting here in Ohio is that I think a lot of, especially young women, so you mentioned young women, didn't hear the stories from women because I think, I know historically we haven't listened to the stories of women. And it's been interesting seeing in the wake of the Dobbs decision, we see especially older generations coming out and telling their stories of what it was like before Roe v. Wade, and seeing young women getting the chance to hear the stories that they didn't hear before. So I'm wondering, do you have an idea of how important those stories are, and what are the stories that you've heard from women about reproductive freedom?
So honestly, we don't even need the stories of what it was like beforehand.
We have them now, every day. Yeah,
we have horror stories all over the country. Look what's going on right now in Texas.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
They have a 6-week abortion ban. There's a woman who a judge, she did exactly what the law requires, went to a judge. The judge reviewed the evidence, determined that her life would be in danger if she did not have the ability to terminate her pregnancy. And the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, has threatened to prosecute any doctor that will perform the abortion. That is, you want to talk, ladies,
Scary.
I'm on the weaponization select subcommittee in Congress, and that's ostensibly the extremist Republicans' tool that they're trying to show that somehow Democrats weaponize government. If that is not a weaponization of government, then I don't know what is. The long arm of the law using authority he does not have to threaten doctors with imprisonment. They can go to prison for life if they get prosecuted successfully. So we got horror stories right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For holding up their oath as a doctor.
But it's not just that. It's not just her. It's these 3 medical facilities where the doctor in question has privileges, and he's threatened to restrict their licensing. So then they have to choose: give care to one person or stop giving care to thousands of people. In the meantime, there's a woman whose life is in danger, and that's the question.
Did you see the story in Broward County where we live? The 2 women, African-American women, who actually met each other in the doctor's office and had the exact same situation where basically if they were not able to, and they were too many days past the 15 abortion ban, and they found out that not only would their fetus not survive, one of them, if she did not terminate her pregnancy, was her fertility was going to essentially be impossible. And I mean, that's the kind of consequence that is happening right now. Never mind the coat hanger horrific stories, which we'll also face if this gets worse and goes on too much longer.
I think that right now what we're seeing across the country is the effects of overturning Roe v. Wade don't just touch abortion. And I think that's really important. And I think that's something that we need to continue to amplify going into 2024. The people who are for these extreme measures, they aren't just going after their abortion, they are criminalizing your actual health care. Like, they are making it to where they would rather see you die or dying before they relinquish control over your body.
They want the full panoply of reproductive options to be restricted. And they want government to make those decisions and not leave those decisions between a woman, her doctor, and her faith. And that's outrageous. And, I am heartsick that it's happening, but it's also, I mean, we're dealing with extremists who hopefully will feel that backlash at the ballot box, and that's why we were able to have fewer losses in the 2022 election and win the majority in 2018 because of their extremism.
Yeah, I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. Every time they do something like this, every time they pass one of these laws, every time they pat themselves on the back and say like, oh yeah, we did a thing. I'm like, do y'all just not care about elections? Or are you just that dense that you don't see it? I haven't quite figured it out. But yeah, I think that Florida is just one state where the voices of like ordinary people are really being lost amidst this like dramatic, like all these dramatic headlines about extremists. And so what can we do to center the voices of just the regular, everyday person again? Because I feel like they're just getting drowned out by all the loud noise.
I'm someone that believes that the most important resource that you have is not your money, it's your time. And that's my mantra every time I talk to voters and people who are trying to motivate to please contribute your blood, sweat, and tears, and not just your treasure. And so what I'm going to suggest in terms of centering and having the voices of normal people heard is, I know it's hard to feel like you're going to have an impact when you send an email to a elected official, and you're right. We just get a lot of incoming from constituents and from people who aren't. But like, show up to a town hall meeting.
Yes.
If you have an opportunity to go, I will tell you. And I know you're a state legislator, and you probably feel exactly the way I do. Some of the best ideas and feedback I get is at the podium after I'm done with the town hall fielding questions, and then someone comes up to me and just pulls me aside and wants to tell me something that's on their mind. And I know that that takes a lot of time and it's really difficult, and people have to get babysitters and they have to try to figure out how they're going to make it to one of those. But we do some of those online now. But make an effort to try to have a minute with, or better yet, bring a group. Here's the other thing that I was thinking about, that I've tried to consistently tell people: bring women together in your living room.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what we talk about all the time.
Ladies, drinks and town halls. Go for drinks, have a town hall after, or have them in your house.
Even without a prominent person, because right now, normal people feel very alone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels like everyone around you is extreme. People are afraid not just to speak at the Thanksgiving dinner table, but to even, talk to their next door neighbor. I mean, how many conversations have you had with friends who you might take a step back and be a little stunned that
Rachel's like a lot.
No, just remember I went to my neighbor's house the other day, and then I just all of a sudden realized my husband's in a conversation about, he was the Hunter Biden corruption, and I was literally sweating, but I was talking to someone else and trying, but he ended up having a really good conversation and really breaking it down. Actually, that's not true. And that part's not true either. And neither is that part. But he's a very calm, collected person, but he was able to have the conversation. But I also am a real believer in just getting together with your friends, because I talked to a few people when I first moved and they're like, oh, well, will we vote? And I was like, oh, that's great. Guess what? Voting is the bare minimum. If we want to get rid of the crazy people on the Broward County School Board, it's going to take more than just voting. It's going to take organizing, finding a good candidate and promoting that candidate and making sure. And it's very possible, but it can't just be done when you vote, because you have to bring a lot of like-minded people.
Absolutely.
And have the same normal people that in your life, invite them over for coffee or drinks, and especially women, because right now I think women are going to really drive the outcome of elections. And, Rachel, in Broward, we have had some really nutty people get elected to the school board or appointed to the school board by Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
We have a turnout problem here, and other places as well. So we've got to bump the numbers. But when you can make people feel like they are not alone, and because they don't want to pop their head above the waterline, if they feel like they're the only one. And so enlisting people and make it easy. So first you have a conversation in your living room. Then, the next time you maybe give them an assignment. And next time maybe you're having them make some phone calls through the auto dialer. I mean, we just have a lot on our plates. We have to, in our state, we have to get people signed back up for vote by mail. It's not that hard to get people on the phone and just start texting. I mean, we can give people small, easy tasks, but first we have to create, and I hate this term because it's overused, but a safe space for them. I
love that you talked about conversations can be kind of small conversations and lead to bigger conversations. They can be just someone at your house. They could be, at the bus stop we talk about sometimes. But a lot of times those conversations do lead to more important conversations and more important engagement that's important for the whole political process. So I know one conversation a lot of us have been having right now that is a hard conversation, I think, for us to have is about the war in Israel, which has been a hot topic in the news and conversations all over America. And we know that disinformation and emotional hot takes are everywhere. How can we talk to our friends and neighbors about it in a way that gets back to the humanity of it all?
I think that's such an important question, because I think we do have to recognize that, from my perspective as a member of the Jewish community, we're in incredible pain right now. I've never seen more shock and heartache and pain, and the reality of this moment, and how thousands of years of hate that have been embedded in people around the world are all coming at us at once. If you work with or have a Jewish neighbor, even if you think they're not religious, even the least religious among us, the most secular of Jews, are feeling pain right now. We have 1,200 Jewish, Israelis slaughtered in Israel. more than 240 taken hostage. And I've just suggested, reach out and just say, hey, I hope you're doing all right. I know what's going on is really difficult. And I mean, that can start conversations. And I think we also have to recognize that there's a lot of pain in the Muslim community too. And it's really horrific to see. I think we have to try to approach these conversations very personally and empathetically. And we also have to make sure that especially to young people, you guys, especially to young people, really urge people to get their news from trusted sources, because TikTok is not a trusted source of news.
No.
And there's so much misinformation and disinformation, and people take young people. I mean, by young people, I mean, I have, young adults, 24-year-old twins and a 20-year-old. And, like most of their news is consumed through those social media platforms, which aren't always, don't always have the most veracity. Let's put it that way.
You were part of Nancy Pelosi's 30-something working group to address issues that affect younger voters. What issues did you focus on, and how can the government do more for young people?
This is really at the advent of the beginning of social media. Twitter had just barely started when myself and several other colleagues that were all in our 30s and were in Congress, we were in the minority. It was George W. Bush was president, and we didn't have a whole lot else to do at night. So we would go on the House floor and we would just sort of riff on issues that were important to, which what we did is, it's not so much that we focused on issues that were important to young people. We tried to make Congress and what we were doing relevant to young people. So like we talked about, George W. Bush suddenly decided that he had a mandate to privatize Social Security. Well, we tried to make sure that our generation of young people understood, if we privatize Social Security, it will not be there when you need it. It'll be gone, because we're throwing you into the stock market. And we would say, look, think about it. Do you feel like, as a 30-something-year-old, that you're confident in your investment knowledge to be able to invest the retirement money and make sure you have enough for when you need it? I mean, most people would say, who were listening to us, said, well, heck no, I definitely don't. I need to make sure that safety net is there. And so we tried to use our platform that we had to make people think about things that they may not have otherwise. And we also did it with big, massive props. We created this big blow up rubber stamp, and we'd bring it on the House floor. Gas prices were really high back then. And I bought on eBay, I bought a little miniature gas tank, and I propped it up on I got a George W. Bush bobblehead. We tried to be irreverent. And then we also would telegraph to the the nascent Twitter audience, and they would respond back to us. It was like the first time that in social media interacted with IRL and in real life. And we kind of got slapped on the wrist for doing that. But we got some pretty good attention and eyeballs from people who wouldn't have otherwise watched C-SPAN.
You know what? And when you're in the minority party and they're not really letting your bills get through and all stuff, you just can get creative and do what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Not let my bill get across? Like, you weren't doing that anyway. So what is the punishment for me shining a light on your bad behavior other than the thing that you're already doing to me? So that's one of the things that I love about being in, I don't like being in the minority party. I just want to be clear. But when you are in the minority party, you have a little bit of freedom that you don't have when people can actually take things away from you.
I mean, it's a little, those are like breaking the rules that everyone would like to welcome back. That would be really nice. Like, just very quaint, those halcyon days of yes, breaking the rules in that way. Unfortunately, what we see now is a little bit.
Oh yeah, the rule breaking we see now is way, way worse than what that was.
Yeah.
Well,
to our democracy.
Yeah. I mean, if we're being honest, it is. Well, again, it's been so wonderful having you today. I love when we have our elected officials and we can talk to you and see all aspects of your life, because you're not just an elected official. You're so much more. Just like us, you are an elected representative of all the citizens, and it's just great to see another side of you. So thank you so much for joining us today on the Suburban Women Problem.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. Please have me back. This was fun.
Yes.
Thank you.